You know the words. Most people hear them for the first time in a quiet room, in a soft voice, when they are too young to understand what is being said. Rockabye baby, on the treetop. When the wind blows, the cradle will rock. When the bough breaks, the cradle will fall. And down will come baby, cradle and all. It sounds gentle. It sounds like sleep. But listen to what it is actually describing. A baby is placed high in a tree. The wind shakes the branch snaps, and the baby falls. That is not comfort. It is a countdown. And the creepiest part is this. The rhyme does not even flinch. It does not rush to help. It just tells you what will happen, like it has happened before. People have spent centuries trying to explain why a lullaby would end like that. Some say it was a joke. Some say it was a warning. Some say it was a hidden message. But the truth is much darker. To understand why this rhyme feels so wrong, you have to go back to the earliest printed versions we can trace. It was printed in England in the 1700s, in collections linked to Mother Goose songs. That matters because it means the words were not just whispered in one home. They were passed around, repeated, and sold. In some old collections, this rhyme even comes with a note, like a little extra message from the person who wrote it down. The message is simple. It is a warning to people who climb too high, people who reach for power, people who sit on high branches. Because high branches break. Some adults did not treat this as a sweet baby song. They treated it like a lesson, maybe even a threat. And here is what makes it stranger. We do not have perfect proof of where the rhyme began. Like many nursery rhymes, it lived in mouths before it lived on paper. That means it can have more than one origin. And when a rhyme has a scary ending and a blurry beginning, people start filling the gap with secrets. Before we go into theories, sit with the surface story for a second. A cradle is a baby bed. A bough is a big tree branch. So the scene is simple. A baby is in a cradle. The cradle is on a treetop. The wind rocks it. The branch breaks. The baby falls. That's the whole plot. And it's already disturbing, because no normal parent would do that, which means one of two things. Either this isn't about a real baby, or it comes from a world where danger around children was common enough to sing about without stopping. Either way, it's a nightmare wrapped in a sing-song beat. Now picture it. Not the cartoon version, not the cute one. A dark yard, a tall tree, a cradle up high, barely seen through the leaves. The wind starts small, the cradle moves. Creak, creak, then the wind gets stronger. The leaves hiss, the tree groans, the cradle rocks harder. And then you hear the sound every parent fears, a sharp snap. For one sick moment, everything is weightless. Then gravity takes over. Down comes the cradle. Down comes the baby. Down comes the lie that everything is safe. And the rhyme ends. So why would anyone make this into a nursery rhyme? Here is the first layer. It is built on a fear that never goes away. A baby cannot save itself. It cannot hold on. It cannot make choices that keep it safe. Even today, adults try to control danger with locks, gates, monitors, and rules. But deep down, we all know a hard truth. You cannot control everything. Old lullabies often soothe the child and the adult. Sometimes the adult was singing to push away their own fear. Rockabye Baby feels like that, like someone whispering that it is fine while the words say the opposite. And that might be the simplest answer. Not a secret code, not a big plot, just a dark truth slipping into a song. Now let's step back. Rockabye Baby is only 4 lines, but it works like a trap. Line 1 puts you somewhere wrong, a treetop. Line 2 adds motion, the cradle rocks. Line 3 adds damage, the branch breaks. Line 4 delivers the end, the fall. That is why it feels haunted. Not just because it is about a baby, because it is about helplessness, about too late. And that is why people keep trying to soften it. Over time, words shift. Extra lines appear. Small patches get added. But the shape stays. A high place, a shake, a break, a fall. Even when people want to fix it, they cannot. If you remove the fall, it stops being Rockabye Baby. So culture does something else. It sings it slow. It turns it into habit. It teaches it to children. That is how a dark rhyme survives. Not by becoming bright, by becoming normal. But there are other layers, and this is where it gets stranger. Because some people believe Rockabye Baby wasn't written about a child at all. They think it was written about power. Here is one theory. Some people think the baby is not a baby. They think it is a royal baby, a symbol, an heir, a ruler in waiting. And they think the treetop is not a real tree. They think it is a throne. Leaders are always described as sitting high. And when a ruler is weak, or when people don't trust the crown, rumors grow fast. There is an old royal scandal people connect to this rhyme. Whispers about a newborn prince and a storm of distrust. People claimed the baby wasn't really the queen's baby. They claimed a switch. They claimed trickery. And when people can't safely insult the crown out loud, they hide the insult. They put it in jokes. They put it in songs. They put it in nursery rhymes. So in this theory, the rhyme is saying, the baby is placed up high. The country rocks in the wind. The branch breaks, and the baby falls. Not a real fall, a political fall, a warning that power can drop fast. The reason this theory survives is simple. The rhyme doesn't mention mom or dad. It doesn't say crib in a house. It says treetop. It puts the baby in a place that feels wrong, too high, too exposed, like a target. Now, here is another theory. Some claim the rhyme came from a sight that scared European settlers in early America. They say some indigenous people used cradle boards. and that a baby could be placed safely while a parent worked. Some versions claim it could even be set where the wind could rock it. If someone saw that and misunderstood it, they might twist it into something dangerous. They might turn safe cradle into cradle on the treetop. But here is the problem. The strongest versions of this claim often come with neat details, like the pilgrims saw it, or it was written on the Mayflower, and those parts don't have solid proof. It's the kind of a story people repeat because it sounds perfect. Still, even if those details aren't true, this theory shows something important. When people don't know the real origin, they search for an origin that makes the rhyme feel less cruel, because the plain meaning is too awful to sit with. Think about the setting again. A cradle in a tree feels like a mistake, like someone tried to build safety in the wrong place. And maybe that is the point. Because many people, in many times, have lived like that, up high on something thin, because there was no better option. In that world, the phrase "the wind blows" can mean anything. Illness, job loss, fire, war, bad luck. And the phrase "the bough breaks" is what happens when life cannot hold the weight anymore. That is why the rhyme feels bigger than it is. It takes one small picture and turns it into a larger truth. Life can turn fast, and the smallest people pay first. Now, let us do a second vignette. Not the treetop, the bedroom, a small room in the past. No nightlight, no soft playlist, maybe a candle if you could afford it. A parent sits near a cradle, tired in the bones. The baby fusses, the parent starts singing, almost without thinking. Rock-a-bye baby. The voice is soft, slow, the baby calms, but the parent sings the last lines too. When the bough breaks, down will come baby. Why sing that part? Maybe because it is the rhythm they grew up with. Maybe because saying the fear out loud makes it feel smaller, like turning panic into a pattern. That is how humans survive fear. We turn it into a song. So what do we do with all these layers? Here is the truth. Rock-a-bye. Baby works because it breaks a rule. Nursery rhymes are supposed to feel safe. This one does not. It puts a baby on a high branch and snaps it in half. That shock is why people keep adding meanings. Political meaning, moral meaning, travel story meaning. Each theory is a way to make the fall feel less senseless, because senseless is the scariest kind. If it is about a king, it becomes history. If it is about pride, it becomes a lesson. If it is about a custom, it becomes a misunderstanding. But if it is just what it sounds like, then it is a lullaby that admits something we hate, that even the smallest life can be lost in an instant, and the world will not even change its rhythm. The wind will keep blowing, the trees will keep swaying, and the song will keep rocking. The last time you hear "Rock-a-bye baby," Do not listen like a child. Listen like the words mean what they say. A cradle on a treetop is not a cozy picture. It is a warning sign. It is a story about being perched too high on something too thin. And the reason it still feels disturbing, even after hundreds of years, is simple. Deep down, we all know what the rhyme is really saying. You can build a cradle. You can sing a song. You can try to make the whole world feel safe. But if the branch breaks, nothing you sing can stop the fall.